If you're a business owner, this is a spotlight and a segment on exit planning. Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial, and this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish and get their books done to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. Joining me on this segment is Vinil Ramchandran. He's the founder of Dream Business Brokers. Vinil, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you having me.
Tell us a little bit about your work and specifically let us know who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping.
Absolutely. So at Dream Business Brokers, we work with business owners that are looking to exit their company. Primarily, most of our clients are, approaching retirement age, and they want to pass on their legacy to someone else that's going to take the business and continue running it. So most of our clients are generally in the private sector, typically from $1 million to $20 million in revenue. I work primarily in Southern California. Occasionally we get out of here, but we tend to keep pretty busy just in our own backyards. And a lot of my clients are in the manufacturing and distribution space, although we do work with other sectors, a lot of B2B services, some tech company, some retail, so on.
Tell us a little bit about your ideal clients. They're great at their businesses and growing their businesses, but how much thought do they really put into the planning to exit their businesses? How prepared are they, or what's on their mind? What are their preconceived notions about exiting a business?
That's a good question. I always say, an informed seller and an informed buyer typically make the best clients because they know what they're getting into and they have realistic expectations. Now, to your point, it's pretty common for business owners not to really think about what's next. They sort of have this thought in the background that someday maybe they'll exit, maybe they'll sell, maybe they'll pass on the business to someone within their business, but it's never really formalized. They don't really have a documented plan. It really hasn't been structured in any formal manner. So that's where we come in. Is a lot of times, it's ideal when a client knows exactly what they want and just want to go and package the business and sell it, because that's primarily most of what we do is package businesses, take it to market, find the ideal buyer. And we think of ourselves as matchmakers, get the right buyer, match them up with the right business, and help the seller and the buyer achieve what they're both looking to get done. That said, it's very common for business owners not to have put a lot of thought into this and not to have a plan. And that's where exit planning comes in. We'll meet with sellers often a few years before they're really ready to pull the trigger and help evaluate the business, identify where they are, understand what's important to them, and come up with a plan to bridge any gap that might exist between where the business is today and what they want to get out of it when they exit, so we can help their dreams come to reality.
One of our goals here in the series is really to shed light on the process of exit planning and let people know what that looks like. Can you kind of give us a 10,000-foot view of what it's like to work with you, and how do you come in and work together with that business owner and in what areas do you help them prepare?
Absolutely. So the first thing I'll say is this is really a team sport. There's no one person that I know of that would be able to handle everything that could potentially go into exit planning. And what we do here is a lot of our exit planning work is complementary. We do this for clients that are looking to sell their business, and we're just trying to offer a value-added service. We don't try to charge them for this. This is just something we do to help them have a better exit when they are finally ready to go. So it really starts off with us meeting with the client and understanding their needs. What is it that they have? What does the business look like today? Is it ready to take to market? Or is there something that needs to be done to clean up the business and improve the performance to get it ready to take to market down the road? What's the seller's expectation? It's very common for sellers to have an inflated expectation on valuation. They think the business is worth more than it really is. And that's part of the education process. We have to evaluate the business, help them understand what the business is really going to get if we were to take it to market today, and how does that compare to what they want to get out of it. And part of this may involve bringing in other people. It's common for us to bring in financial planners. Their accountant may need to come in and advise them on the tax consequences of any sale. There may be some legal work that needs to be done to streamline their contracts and estate planning and so on. And once the ducks are in a row and they're clear on what they want to do and the timing of it, that's where we get involved with doing some of the other heavy lifting. So I know this is sort of a bird's eye overview. There's a lot more that goes into it depending on the state of the business. They may have to work on several value drivers to help improve the valuation of the business, because you can't just ask for what you want and expect the market to pay it. You've got to do something to build up the value of the business if it's not where you want it to be.
So, as you start working with your clients, have you identified or spotted some really common, big, glaring mistakes that everyone seems to make, or some pitfalls that people commonly fall into? Can you share a couple of those?
Yeah, sure. So a big one is definitely lack of preparation. There's people that we talk to, sometimes they're in their late 70s, they really want to get out, they want to get out now, but they haven't put any thought, they haven't done any preparation. Another common one is books and records. A lot of small business owners, they're working with very informal bookkeeping practices. Sometimes the documentation is not very good, it's not very clean. They have a lot of personal expenses and so on being run through the business. And we can work through a lot of that, but sometimes there are issues where there are substantial dollars and cents running through the business that just cannot be reasonably adjusted for, right? A lender's not going to look at that and say, hey, we'll just trust that that's a personal expense. So you do need a little bit of time to clean things up. So that's really a big issue with owners, is just thinking ahead, and they need to consult with a professional, whether it's an exit planner, but even it could be their CPA in some cases, just in terms of cleaning up their books and so on, or a business intermediary like myself. They need to speak to some professional well in advance of that time when they want to pull the trigger and sell the business.
Vinil, what inspired you to get into this field and help business owners exit their business with proper planning and proper presentation? How did you get started in the business?
Sure. So I had, when I got out of corporate America 10, 11 years ago now, I had looked at acquiring a business myself. And just through that process and working with a lot of different intermediaries, I noticed a gap. It was pretty clear that there was a lot of people just focused on doing it on a very transactional level without really getting deeper and understanding what's important to the buyer and seller and really trying to bridge that gap. And I just knew there was a ton of opportunity there. I started off as a business consultant, worked with a lot of different companies. My background's in industrial engineering and in corporate America in management for many years. So I had a good perspective and good understanding, lots of experience on the operational side, and being able to understand a business and how it runs and where the pitfalls are and where the opportunities are. I just knew I could do a better job with adding value to sellers that are looking to exit. So it's something that I enjoy. I'm very passionate about it. It's something that I'm good at, and I think there's a lot of opportunity as business owners continue to exit at a feverish pace. There's a lot of baby boomers getting to retirement age, and I feel like this is a market that's just going to grow. The need is just going to continue to increase over the next several years, and I'm here to help.
Before I ask you my last question, is there anything that I didn't think to ask you regarding exit planning that you feel is really important to share with business owners that are considering selling today?
So what I would say is one of the things that's going to be very important is understanding the timeline of when an owner needs to exit, right? So the one issue that often comes up is something that we call the dismal Ds in the exit planning industry, right? So this refers to death, disease, divorce, dissolution of a partnership, so on and so forth. There are factors, negative factors, that can affect a business that force an owner into taking action. And that's typically the worst time to sell, right? Because at that point, you're selling out of desperation. Buyers can just smell it. They're going to take advantage of the situation. And it's really important for people to avoid allowing themselves to end up in that sort of a situation, and hence the need for exit planning in advance.
Terrific. For business owners that are listening, resonating with your message, and would like to speak with you, how can they find you and connect?
Absolutely. They could reach me on my website. It's www.dreambusinessbrokers.com, or they can email me at Vinil, that's VINIL, at dreambusinessbrokers.com, or simply call us at 562-761-4689.
Vinil, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate the time. I think you've got a great interview format and service here, and I look forward to spending more time on your website.
That was Vinil Ramchandran. He's the founder of Dream Business Brokers. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.